There's a type of person who gets into an argument, feels the anger rising, opens their mouth to say exactly what they mean, and instead of words coming out clearly, their eyes fill up and their voice starts shaking. And the worst part? Everyone in the room reads it as sadness, as weakness, as she's not really mad, she's just upset. Meanwhile, inside, they are furious. And here's what nobody tells you. Crying when you're angry isn't a malfunction. According to psychology and neuroscience, it might actually be one of the most misread signals in the entire emotional spectrum. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to understand exactly why this happens, and why it has absolutely nothing to do with being weak. Let's start with the obvious question. Why does anger of all emotions come out as tears for some people? To understand that, you have to understand what anger actually is at a biological level. Anger is a high arousal state. Your heart rate spikes, your cortisol and adrenaline flood your system, your body prepares for confrontation. It's the same physiological cocktail as fear. Your brain doesn't have a separate reaction for angry and overwhelmed. It has one general alarm system, and once that alarm crosses a certain threshold, your body needs somewhere for all that energy to go. For some people, that energy comes out as raised voices and confrontation. For others, the exact same internal intensity gets rerouted through tears. And here's the key thing researchers keep emphasizing. That's not two different emotions. That's the same emotion taking two different exits. Here's what's actually happening in the brain. When intense emotion builds faster than your prefrontal cortex, the rational, verbal, "let me explain calmly" part of your brain can keep up with it. Your amygdala essentially overrides the system. It's an ancient part of the brain, and it doesn't speak in sentences. It speaks in physical responses. For some nervous systems, particularly ones that were shaped early on to associate anger with danger, that override defaults to tears instead of words. A study published in the journal Emotion found that people who report crying during anger show significantly higher amygdala reactivity combined with lower real-time verbal fluency in the moment, meaning literally, the words are harder to access precisely because the emotional signal is so loud. So when someone cries while they're furious, it's not that the anger is small, it's that the anger is so large, their verbal processing system is temporarily getting outrun by it. Now here's the part that explains where this pattern actually comes from. For a lot of people who cry when they're angry, this goes back to childhood, to households where expressing anger directly wasn't safe or wasn't allowed. Maybe anger got punished. Maybe a parent's anger was frightening, loud, or unpredictable. And the unspoken rule became, anger is dangerous, don't do what they do. Maybe showing anger got you labeled dramatic or disrespectful or too much, while showing sadness got you comfort instead of consequences. Psychologists call this emotional substitution, and it's essentially the nervous system learning which emotional expressions are safe to display and which ones need to be rerouted. Kids are remarkably efficient learners. If anger got punished and sadness got soothed, the brain quietly starts converting one into the other. And by adulthood, it happens automatically, faster than conscious thought. This is why so many people who cry when angry describe feeling almost betrayed by their own body. They're not sad. They know they're not sad. But their body picked the exit ramp it learned was survivable. And by the time the tears show up, there's no overriding it. It's like trying to stop a sneeze through sheer willpower. Here's the physiological piece most people never learn, and it's genuinely fascinating. Tears triggered by strong emotion, what researchers call psychogenic tears, actually contain different chemical compounds than tears from cutting an onion. Emotional tears carry higher concentrations of stress hormones, including adrenocorticotropic hormone, a chemical directly tied to your body's stress response. In other words, when you cry during intense anger, your body might genuinely be discharging stress hormones through your tear ducts. Crying isn't separate from the anger. It might actually be one of your body's mechanisms for metabolizing it. And this connects to something researchers have found about the nervous system more broadly. People prone to this pattern often show what's called high emotional intensity combined with high private self-consciousness, meaning they feel things powerfully and they're intensely aware of how those feelings might look to other people. That combination is a lot to hold at once. You're furious and simultaneously monitoring your own face, your own voice, your own composure, terrified of looking exactly the way you feel. That dual processing, feeling the emotion while also managing its presentation, takes up enormous cognitive bandwidth. And when bandwidth runs out, the body takes over, and the tears arrive whether you invited them or not. Now let's talk about the part that makes this so frustrating in real life. Because when someone cries during a confrontation, it almost always changes the entire dynamic of the conversation. Suddenly the crying becomes the topic. Why are you crying? I'm the one who should be upset. Stop crying so we can actually talk about this. The original issue, the thing that made them angry in the first place, gets completely buried under a conversation about the tears themselves. Communication researchers call this affect derailment, when the emotional display of a conflict overtakes the actual content of the conflict. And it's uniquely unfair to criers, because the very symptom of their anger becomes the reason nobody takes their anger seriously. There's a gendered layer to this too, worth naming honestly. Women are socialized from early childhood to express distress through tears and to suppress overt anger, while boys are frequently socialized in the opposite direction, encouraged toward anger and discouraged from crying. So this pattern isn't random. It's frequently the direct result of decades of social conditioning about which emotions are considered acceptable to display and for whom. Understanding that doesn't make the tears less real. If anything, it explains exactly why so many people who cry when angry feel so much shame about it. Because they've been quietly taught their whole lives that this reaction makes them look weak, dramatic, or unstable. When really, it's an incredibly common and explainable nervous system response. So here's the real question worth sitting with. Are these tears a release, or are they a shutdown? Because there's a difference. For some people, crying during anger is simply an alternate release valve. The intensity comes out, and afterward they feel clear, able to actually name what upset them and move forward. For others, the crying becomes a way to end the conflict entirely, a subconscious exit ramp that shuts the confrontation down before the real issue ever gets addressed. If it's the first one, you're looking at an unusual but healthy emotional pathway. If it's the second one, that's worth getting curious about, because avoiding the actual disagreement, even unintentionally, means the thing that made you angry in the first place never actually gets resolved. But let's get back to the people who've made peace with this pattern, because there's something worth respecting here. The people who understand this about themselves stop apologizing for it and start narrating it instead. They'll say, "I'm crying because I'm angry, not because I'm sad, give me a second." And that single sentence does something powerful. It reclaims the emotion from being misread. It forces the people around them to update their assumptions, instead of running the default script of, "she's just upset." That takes real self-awareness, the kind that most people never develop, because most people just feel embarrassed and try to hide it instead of naming it out loud. There's a reason a lot of intensely passionate, deeply principled people experience this. It's not that they feel less anger than the person yelling across the table. Often they feel more. Their nervous system is simply running a different circuit for the same amount of voltage. The person raising their voice and the person crying might be experiencing the exact same internal fire. One just has a body that expresses it through volume, and the other has a body that expresses it through tears. And only one of those gets read correctly by the people watching. Let's zoom out, because this connects to something bigger about how we've culturally decided which expressions of anger are legitimate. We accept slammed doors. We accept raised voices. We accept cold silence as a valid, if uncomfortable, expression of fury. But tears during anger get treated as a category error, like the emotion filed itself under the wrong label. Yet biologically, it's simply intensity finding an outlet, the same way volume is intensity finding an outlet. The stigma isn't really about the psychology. It's about which physical expressions of anger we've decided to respect. So what does this mean for you? If you're someone who cries when you're angry, here's your permission slip. You are not weak. You are not overly sensitive. You are not incapable of standing your ground. You have a nervous system that processes overwhelming intensity through tears instead of volume, likely built from years of learning which emotional expressions felt safest to show. The goal isn't to train yourself to stop crying. The goal is to stay in the conversation anyway, to say the true, angry thing you need to say, even while your voice is shaking and your eyes are full. Because the tears were never proof that you didn't mean it. They were proof of exactly how much you did. The next time someone tells you to stop crying so you can actually talk about it, you can tell them about amygdala override, about psychogenic tears carrying real stress hormones, about a nervous system that learned decades ago which exit ramp felt survivable. Or you can just wipe your face, look them in the eye and say, "I'm not sad. I'm furious, and this is just what that looks like on me." That usually changes the entire conversation. If this explains something about yourself you never had the words for, don't scroll yet. There's a follow-up breaking down why some people go completely silent when they're upset, instead of raising their voice at all. And it comes from that exact same nervous system split we just talked about. I'll see you there.